I just got finished playing Tomoyo's Root and Clannad. It's been probably about 10, 12 years since I've actually seen the anime. It came out in 2008, and I remember watching it when it first came on Netflix. So that was about 2009, 2010. And I had been in a relationship by then, and I remember that summer because it was right after me and my girlfriend broke up. So she was the first girlfriend that I had ever like felt that way towards, you know. And whenever we we broke up, I was kind of lost there for a little bit. I mean, just like everybody is, you know, I'm not special in any way. It it reminded me that nothing can last forever. And so when I watched Clannad and then After Story and whatnot, I really remember Tomoyo's Root, and I had never played the visual novel before because it hadn't been localized. It had been like fanslated by Fua Novel, like some I don't even remember when it was. I think it was like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. But the Kickstarter that Sakai Project brought up, like it blew past its goal. Like its goal for fundraising, I don't even remember what it was in the end, but it blew past it, and they got all the stretch goals and whatnot. Even added some new CGs, and now they're even trying to add the like 920, yeah, 1920 by 1080p support, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But the type of growth that is shown and stifled in Tomoyo's Root and Clannad, like the visual novel, it's really interesting to look at because there's a lot of parallels that can be drawn to life, and when you're just like, okay, why am I so stuck? Why am I so stuck in life right now? You know, and a lot of people can feel like that, and it showed in Tomoya not wanting to not wanting to break up with Tomoyo, but him having to do it in the end because he felt like he was stifling her, you know. And whenever you actually do care about somebody, like holding them back is the last thing you want to do. You want them to be themselves. But in this situation, instead of stepping up to the plate and taking responsibility for how he made this girl feel about him and how he's been behaving with her since then, it was interesting to see. And I understand that his peers were all telling him that he needed to, you know, he was just holding her back and whatnot, and that he really needed to think about, you know, what was going to happen moving forward. And I would have been susceptible to that too to begin with, you know. I didn't have the wisdom that I have now, but I have that wisdom now. And thinking back on it, the mistake that he made was letting other people tell that had dubious intentions tell him what he was supposed to be feeling and what was best for him, when he, coming into himself as an adult, needed to take that journey and figure it out and make those failures, you know. But instead of doing that, he failed in a way that cost him a bunch of time. And time is very valuable. We're a very short-lived creature. Like, if you think about it, you always hear about people like in politics. You know, they're talking about how they want to make change and when they'll get in, and when they get in, the change that they want to make, they can't do it like immediately. So they have to keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And 4 years go by, another 4 years go by, and then you're just like, okay, now I'm definitely going to do it. But I just have to wait a little bit longer. Then another 4 years go by, and then another 4 years go by, and By the time you realize it, you're in your middle ages. You know, you're way past your prime. And that's why in this situation, it bothered me that he made that choice. It really did bother me because I just saw like the immaturity and the lack of self responsibility that he made in that situation because there are too many people who will try to push off the responsibility or something else and try to decide what's best for someone else. But the thing is, he should have let, if he really respected Tomoyo, like as a human being, not as a woman, but as a human being, he would have let her make her own choice because she chose to be with him to begin with. So there should have been no thought of, well, let me do this for her because she won't make the choice. She had already made her choice, you know. And when he brought that topic up of them having to break up, you know, it probably pained her more than was like possible to be shown on screen, you know. But sometimes, you know, good intentions they just get all muddled, you know. It happens. It happens when you want to do good for somebody, but you're not fully confident in what you're doing. So you make that choice and it ends up not being the right call. That's why you have to have a good support group, good friends, good family members, you know, people who are willing to like respect you and respect your opinion and, you know, letting you make choices and make mistakes and being able to let you reflect on what happened whenever, you know, you made that bad choice, that bad call. And at the end of all this, I still wish that he would have made a different choice, but I could say the exact same thing for myself. You know, I still feel like I'm stuck in limbo. I got injured one time, and it just caused a cascading effect of me falling into addiction and falling into, you know, depression and not knowing what the depression was. So I stayed in limbo for so long and thought that I was doing something good when I really wasn't. And then finally, you know, doing it, making a change of scenery, and still not doing anything. And that's the biggest thing is being stuck and not progressing. That is the biggest thing that should bother adults. I know that it bothers me and my friends, my guy friends at least. And not only that, but my friends who are women as well. They like one of them came up to me and she like during this whole entire pandemic and she was reflecting my exact sentiment in terms of I feel like I should be doing more. And I feel like it's a really instinctual and it's something that's hard encoded into us where we should feel like we should already be settled down or something like that, but we just haven't made the best choices and have, you know, kind of wasted a lot of time. But at the end of the day, you know, as long as you make that choice and you're sure of it and you're able to live with the consequences, I think that your happiness will stay paramount in your life. You know, I forget who is describing it, but you know, it's like you have so many things that you could focus on in life, and how much are you willing to dedicate things that upset you to that? You know, personally, me, I try to find as many things that are good for me or will pan out good for me in the long run. That's what I try to fill my time with. And then a good 30% is wasted, you know, just playing video games or something like that. Obviously, I'm trying to make my content creation thing take off, but if it doesn't, then, you know, it, I'm still going to be doing this, you know, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's a choice I'm willing to make because at the end of the day, I want to live a good life. I don't need to have hundreds and thousands of dollars. You know, I've had that. I've had that. I've gotten it and I realize what not earning it can do to somebody's mindset and how it shows them how to be frivolous with that sort of thing. But yeah, in all, I think that Okazaki to begin with just didn't have confidence in what he was doing because he wasn't an adult, but adults were telling him that this sort of thing was going on. And in the situation, Sunahara was like supporting him, you know, the entire time. And in those situations and in those like hours of need, you should take your friend's advice into consideration more than anything else, you know, because you're not thinking clearly in those types of situations. And what ended up happening was a lot of pain was shared there. And I felt that. The authors did a really good job. I mean, hats off to the writers at Key. They just did a fantastic job with, articulating that point of how Okazaki felt after making that decision. I haven't felt that way in a very long time. But I think that everybody that enjoys anime should try to download this game and play it and get the Tomoyo's route. Don't like hop into like the main like Nagisa's route and Tomoyo's route. Those are the two most popular ones. So I would definitely set those off to the side and go like get a guide and then a no spoiler guide, of course, and then go through those first because I heard that I haven't played it yet, but I'm pretty sure that um Fuko's route is also really good too. I finished playing Kyo's route, and it was the exact. I mean, it wasn't the exact same thing. It had a totally different feel to it, and I didn't feel my emotions didn't get out of control as much as it did with Tomoyo's route. But anyways, yeah, I'm not sure why I was just so overcome with emotion that I had to figure out how to put it into a format and then eventually look down the road and realize how big of an idiot I was while I was making this. And yeah, I'm glad that I did though.